automate SQL Server, Power Apps, and SSI, SSRS, all these things. Right now, I'm teaching Power BI, SQL Server, and Power Apps. Okay, so this is the continuation class. Okay, in the last session, we are discussing in Power BI, what is transform data and everything. In the last class that we discussed. Okay, and this week we need to discuss about DAX functions and everything. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, see here. So first of all, today topic we need to discuss DAX functions. And another one is modeling. Okay, these are the two things we need to discuss. So first of all, DAX function, because in the last workshop we discussed like transform data, what is transform data, and what are the things we can do it in transform data. All these things that we can discuss in the last class. Okay, in continuation of that class, that workshop, it is this week we need to discuss DAX functions and model. First of all, DAX functions. Okay. Why the DAX function? In Power BI, this is the major topic in Power BI. Okay, DAX function. Why DAX functions? Actually, we have transform data options are there and each and everything we can do it, right? So why DAX function? Because why the DAX functions is DAX functions are dynamics. Okay, suppose at the time of running a report, if you want to execute anything, must and should we have to use DAX functions. Okay, so transform data options are also there, but transform data options are static. That means before running the report, those transform data options we can apply. But at the time of running a report, okay, if you want to, at the time of running a report, the calculations will perform into that particular one and get the result. Means using DAX functions only it is possible because DAX functions are dynamic. Okay, that means so dynamic means at the time of running a report, those all the calculations. That means why the DAX in the runtime only we need to perform because based on the user selection, we don't know what user is selected. Okay, based on the user selection, I need to perform all these DAX functions. Okay, suppose for example, based on the user selection, calculation will happens in the visualization. Okay, so that means so user is selected, we don't know what user is selected. Sometimes user is selected X, sometimes the user is selecting the value as Y value, like that. Different values user is selected. Whatever user is selected, based on that, calculations need to be performed. So for that, we have to use DAX functions. Okay. So what are the different DAX functions categories are there? Means see here, there are different functions are there. Okay. Like suppose, for example, okay, hmm, aggregation functions. Okay. And calendar daytime functions. And text functions. logical functions. These are the four major important DAX functions. With this one, we can handle completely this Power BI. Okay. So one by one, we can discuss. See here, what are aggregation functions? See here, aggregation functions. What are aggregation functions? Sum. Okay. Min, max, average, count. Okay. These are all aggregation functions. What is this one? First, we need to discuss. So, if any DAX function, if you want to apply it in Power BI means, what are the things you have to do? See, okay. So, in Power BI, if you want to apply the DAX function means, in three options only we can apply the DAX functions. What are those three options? Okay. One is new measure, new column, and new table. In these three options only, we can apply tax functions. Why we need to apply in these three only? Because, because, okay, so each, whatever DAX functions we have it, the DAX functions are like three different categories it is divided. All the DAX functions are categorized into three different categories. One is some DAX functions are single valued return functions. Okay. Some DAX functions are row level calculation DAX functions. Some DAX functions are like some DAX functions are creating a data set. So that's the reason there are three categories of DAX functions are there. That's the reason in Power BI desktop, it is divided into three categories. In these three categories of options only, we can apply the DAX function. Where those three categories are there? See here, when you come to this one, suppose for example, see here, suppose for example, here in which option in Power BI desktop, in which options we can apply the DAX function means, see here, go to the modeling, there itself, you will see an option new measure, new column, and new table. Okay. In these three options only, we can apply the DAX functions. That means in new measure, in new column, in new table. In these three options only, we can apply the DAX function. What are these things? That means whatever DAX functions returns a single value, those related functions we can apply it on new method. Okay. Whatever DAX functions we are calculating on row level basis. Okay. That means each and every row having a different values it is generated. Then those related DAX functions we can apply it on new column. Understand? Is my voice is clear for everyone? Can anyone please confirm this one? Yes. Nikesh, can you re-log in it again so that it's clear from your end also? Oh, thank you. Okay. So whatever tags functions returns a single value, those related functions we can apply it on new method. Okay. So this is new method. That means whichever DAX functions returns only one value, those related functions must and should you have to apply it on new method. Whichever DAX functions are calculating on row level basis, that means each and every row having different values or it is there. So those related DAX functions you can apply it on new code. Okay. Whichever DAX functions are creating a new data set. What is that? Whichever DAX functions are creating a new data set, then those related DAX functions you can apply it on new data. Now you understand, okay, what are all these three options? There are three different categories of DAX functions are there. That's the reason three different options are available. So in these three options only, we can apply the DAX functions. Very, very important. Okay, let's discuss all these three categories. Okay, suppose for example, suppose it is aggregation functions. What is aggregation functions are? Aggregation functions is sum, min, max, average, count. These all functions are returns a single value. Okay, all these functions are returns a single value. So how we can apply this one? Let's see here. If it is a single value related DAX function, in which option we can apply? We can apply new. Suppose, for example, see here. Suppose, for example, this is a table. Okay. So this is a table. In this table, suppose, for example, I want to calculate on this one, I want to see the total of this particular sales or gross sales or any column. Okay. Then, so if you want to calculate the total mean, you have to apply some function. Understand clearly or not? So that sum function, suppose first aggregation function is sum. Sum means it will calculate the total. Okay. Then what type of columns you see inside the sum function? You just need to pass the column name. That's it. Automatically, the Power BI will perform to calculate it, calculate the total, and it gives the result. Understand? Your duty is you just need to pass on which column you need to calculate the total, that column you need to pass. Okay. So that means what type of columns you need to pass inside the sum function? That means you can pass numeric or decimal related columns only. What type of columns you need to pass inside the sum? You need to pass either numeric column or decimal column. Any of these columns only we can pass it inside the sum function. Okay. Then whatever numeric or decimal related column we are passing, it will calculate the total and it will give the result. Okay. So we cannot pass inside the sum function. You cannot pass like a date or character related columns. Always you have to pass numeric or decimal related columns only. Okay. How to pass only numeric or decimal. Let's see. First, you need to click on see here. Means all these aggregation functions are written as a single value, right? We can apply it on new measure. When you click on new measure, see here. Immediately, when in this one, if you click on new measure, if you click on new measure or new column or new table, immediately the formula bar is enabled here. Okay. Immediately the formula bar is enabled. Inside that formula bar only you have to write your tax functions. Okay. See here. Suppose for this one, for measure, you can give any name. Suppose, for example, XYZ, and you have to give the name of that. Any name you can. After is equal to, you have to write the function. What aggregation function? First function is sum. Okay. Inside the sum, what column you need to pass? Any numeric or decimal. Which data set related column you need to pass? That column you have to select it here. Suppose, for example, under the financial data set, sales column I need to pass. So you have to select this. And after that, close the bracket. That means inside the function, you just need to pass the column. That's it. Okay. Even if it is, if you don't know what need to be passed inside the function, see here, clearly it will tell you. This is the syntax. Sum of column name. You have to pass the column name. What type of column? See here, add all the numbers in a column. That means numeric or decimal related column only you can pass it inside. After passing the column name, you have to close the bracket and see after that, after closing the bracket, click on enter button in your keyboard to execute that function. Understand? So click on enter. When you click on enter button, that means that function is executed. Once that function is executed, so if you want to see that measure related values, see all the measure related whatever you created, those measure related, if you want to see it in the visual, if you want to see the value of the measure means must and should you have to keep that particular measure value in the visualization. Okay. In the visualizations also, there are different categories of visualizations out there. That means graphs, line related, and table related visuals, and single value related visuals also there. That means you can, whenever you take any particular column, it will show only single value. So most of the times, better to put a whatever measure value. Measure values are written as a single value, right? Measure values always you have to put it in card. Not only card, in remaining other visuals also you can place the measure value. But most of the times we can place it in card visual. This is the card visual. Here. Here. Suppose if I'm selecting XYZ, see here, it will give the total result. See here the total value. That means, see here, if you go to the format, so that means, see here, while at the time of giving a name, instead of giving a name XYZ, you can give the function name same as it is because we can easily identify what function inside that and it is applied. So that's the reason always give the name. Any name you can give, but I'm giving whatever function name is that. See here, it is giving the total. Okay, that means in that particular data set, if you are calculating the total of the sales, then so this is the result. Like similar like other functions also. So what other functions? Min, max function. What min and max functions will do? See here. So I will explain for min, remaining for max you need to try it. Okay. Suppose for example, okay, min means it will take the minimum value. Okay. So that also minimum function also returns a single value. Okay. That means you have to apply it on new measure. Inside the min function. Okay. Inside the min function. Okay. So what columns you need to pass inside the min function? You can pass like numeric or a decimal or date related columns also we can pass because minimum date, maximum date, or minimum numeric value or minimum decimal value or anything it will be. So that's the reason in minimum function you have to pass three type of columns, either numeric or a decimal or another one is date related. Okay. I'm writing the function name. After is equal to only you have to call the function name. Okay. So this is you can give any name for identification purpose. Whatever function I'm using inside that one, the same function name I'm writing. But if whatever you want, you can write that name. Okay. So in this one, suppose for example, If I'm giving numeric value or decimal value, whatever minimum value is there in that complete column, that value only will return. So if you want to pass the date column, what is the minimum date in that particular date column that it will be written. So I'm passing the date column. Suppose, for example, in this financial, there is a date column is there. Just you need to pass the date column name. That's it. Automatically in the date column, what is the minimum value is there, it will find and it will give the result. Okay. Here. In this one, minimum date is this one. If you want, you can check it. Go to the table view and go to the respective column, date column. In this one, see here, if you click on this drop down, you will see the all the values. In that one, what is the minimum value? 1st September 2013. See here, same it is showing up. See here, 1st September 2013. Okay. Okay. So this is how it is calculated. This one. Understand clearly or not? This. So like this, min and max functions are working like this. Next one is average. Average means what is the average formula? Actually, when you're studying in education at that point of time, average means they are giving a formula. Okay. By writing a formula, it gives the result. What is the formula? Sum of values by number of values. The same formula in Power BI also we can apply. But here, Power BI will take the responsibility to write the formula. But our part is you just need to pass the column name inside the average function. That's it. Then what type of columns we need to pass inside the average? Numeric or decimal type of columns only. Understand? See here. So I'm calculating average on this numeric column or decimal column we need to pass only. Okay. So then automatically Power BI will calculate the formula and give the result. Okay. So this is one. See here, the average it is shown. Next one is count. Count means number of records in a column. Okay. If you want to calculate how many number of records in a column, not in the table, in a column, how many number of records are there? If you want to count it, you have to use count function. Okay. See here. Count function will calculate the number of records in a particular specific column. Okay. Then we have to use this function. See here. Then, Vijay, what type of columns we need to pass inside this count function? You can pass any type of column. That means you can pass numeric column or you can pass character column or you can pass decimal column. Any column you can pass. Suppose, for example, I'm passing this one, character type of. Okay. See here. Okay. See here. That means in the country called how many number of records are there? Those count. It will count the records and it will display that one. See here in this one. So this is a country column. In this country column, how many number of records are there? That it will count and it will. So these are the different types of aggregation functions. Okay. So that means aggregation functions like this. Understand clearly? Next one is datetime functions. In datetime functions, see these are the major functions which we need to cover in DAX functions. If you know this one, you can handle any Power BI. Okay. So next one is datetime functions. In this datetime function, there are different functions like calendar, okay, and month, day function, month function, year function, okay, and uh, now function, today function, weekday function, week number function, okay, hour, minute, second. These are the functions of datetime. Let's see how these functions are. So in datetime function, what is the first function? Calendar function. So see this calendar function always it will create a new data set. Very important point. Calendar function always it will create a new data set. Okay. So that means if it is a new data set creation, DAX functions means where you can apply. That means under the table tools, you if it is a new if it is a new table related DAX functions, all those DAX functions you can create it on new table. See, click on this one. After clicking on new table, you have to apply the calendar function. Always calendar function we can apply it on new table because it will create the new data set. Understand? So in this calendar function, see here. In this calendar function, we need to give the start date, comma, end date. Start date means how you can give. See here. So that means inside when you are mentioning the static date value or character value, must and should you have to mention inside the double quotes only. Always you have to give the either date static value or character static value. Must and should you need to give inside the double quotes only. Understand? So in this one, suppose for example, see here. So In this one, starting date format, how you can give like this 2013 02. That means first you need to give the year, and after that month, after that month, like this day. This is start. This is the format while you are mentioning a date format in Power BI. In this format only, how to get this one. Okay, put comma, and inside this one, this is the start date, and end date is you have to give like this. Hmm. Suppose, for example, like this. That means what is the meaning of this one? This is the start date and this is the end date. That means when you are giving start date and end date, in between that, what are all the dates are there? All the dates will be displayed here. Okay. In this calendar function, whatever start date and end date you are mentioned, in between that, what are all the dates are there? All the dates are displayed here. Okay, that means while at the time of displaying between dates, along with these dates are also included. That means from this date to this date, all the dates will be generated. See here. Okay, you have to write it in a proper way. Okay, and click on enter button. Now see here, in between that, what are all the dates are there? All the dates are generated. See here, from this to 25 11 20 20 30 26 27 28 29 30 1 2 3 like that. All the dates will be there. Okay, this is calendar function. Calendar function means always it will create in the new data set. In this one, you have to give the start date and date. Vijay, I have a doubt here. Suppose, can we give like this? Can we give like this? Okay. First, okay. This is the one minute. Can we give like this? No, we cannot give like this because it will throw us an error. Because always start date less than or equal to end date. Must and should. This is the condition. Start date always less than or equal to end date. Otherwise, it will throw us an error. Okay. So see here, what will happen? Okay. So here, this is the maximum date I'm taking in the start date. What? Okay. Minimum date I'm taking from here. Is this the start date is less than or equal to end date? No, it is not like that. So that's the reason it will throw us an error. So always you need to take start date as end date. See here. Okay. So these are all the dates. This is the start date. Okay. So with the start date and end date. Okay. So all the dates will be generated. This is how it is performing the calendar function. Similar like day, month, year functions are. See here. In these functions, what we can do is it will extract the day. Suppose if you are applying day function means from the date column, from the date type of column, wherever the day part is there, that it will be extracted. Okay. From the date column, whatever the day part is there, that it will be extracted. See here, suppose for example, see here, okay. Suppose what is the day here? In this date column, what is the day here? 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. These are all the dates of days only. Okay. If you want to display these date, then you have to use day function. This day function, see here, each row having a different value, right? That's the reason This day function we can apply it on new column, because in new column whatever DAX functions are applied, those functions in each and every row, okay, it will generate a different one. Those related DAX functions you can apply it on new column. See here, day, day of just date column, only date type of column only you need to pass inside that date function. Okay. See here, the day part will be extracted. Similar like month function also. Month, year, and everything. Month of. Here also you need to pass the date code. Okay. In this date column, what is the month here? That it will be extracted. So month column also we can apply it on new column, because see here, here 11 is there. In some rows 12 is there. In some rows 13 is there. Like that. That means that different rows are there. Different values are generated. So you have to. So when you apply year means it will extract the year from the date column. Okay, like this. Okay. So similar like other functions. What is that one? Now and today. Suppose for example, if you want to display current date and time. Okay. If you want to display current date and time, you have to use now function. See here. In new column only we can apply. See here. So that means if you want to display in your system what is the current date and time, that I want to display. What is the current date and time? See here, 11/5/2024, 10/22. That time, date and time I want to display. You have to use now function. See here. So current date and time will be displayed. Okay. If you want to display only current date, then you have to use today function. See, in the new column only you can apply this one. It will display only current date. Okay. So like this. Suppose for example, I have the date and time column, right? In this date and time column, I want to extract hour, minute, and second. You have to use a separate functions like hour, minute functions. Okay. So using those hour, minute, and second functions, you can extract hour part from the date and time. Okay. So inside that hour, minute, and second, must and should you need to pass date and time. Here, whatever hour part is there, that it will be extracted. Suppose similar like minute also, what it is doing? Minute. See here, it will extract the minute from the time, date and time. Now column is there, right? See here, in that one, what is the minute part here? 24, right? That 24 it is. Similar like that second also. second part will be extracted like this. Understand? Okay, like this. Okay, next function is weekday and week number. Weekday means, okay, in a week, how many days are there? 7 days are there. This particular date, in which week that belongs to that number it will display. Suppose this date is in Thursday, it is 4 number. If it is in Tuesday, 2 number. Like that it will be displayed. Okay. You just need to pass what is that one? Date column. Any date column you can pass. Suppose I'm passing now column is there, right? That now column. And must and should you can write the return type is 2. Okay. Because always return type 2 is taking as Monday to Friday. Okay. So Monday to Sunday. See here? Monday to Sunday. Okay. So you have to give the return type as 2, and that means from this one, what it will display 6 because today is Saturday, right? In this one, what is the date here? 11/5/2024. That means which date, which week it is? Saturday week. Saturday means 6 number it is. That's the reason that number it. Understand clear? Next one is week numbers. Week numbers means in a year, how many weeks are there? 52 or 53 weeks are there. That means your date is belongs to which week it is, that week number it will display. Okay. See here, this date is the 19th week. That's the reason 19th week. Understand? So this is about, okay, date time functions. Don't worry. See, this is a workshop it is. So that's the reason we are giving whichever DAX functions are important, those only. But in the regular class, each and every function, there are multiple functions are there. Each and every function there itself we will explain. Okay. With the different examples, why we need to use and everything. Okay. Next one is text functions. In this text functions, what are the different functions are there in text? Combine values. Okay. And combine values. And cat. And cat. Okay. Mid function. Replace function. Okay. And substitute function. Substitute function. um, Format function. Format. So these are the text functions. Okay. So there are a number of functions are there, but when you are going with a regular class, okay, at that point of time, what are the different categories of each and every? So not only these categories, these are the major important categories of functions. That's the reason I but in regular class, okay, we will we will explain like I will explain like clearly like 7 to 8 categories of functions are there. Each and every function I will explain. Okay. In this text function, first function is combine values. What is combine values will do? That means if you want to combine multiple columns into single column, must and should you have to use combine values. See here, suppose this combine values also we have to use it in new column. See here, and while you are combining any type of column, you can combine. It's not compulsory to pass only characters, only data, only numeric, not like that. You can, one column is numeric, one column is date, one column is decimal. Like that, any type of column you can put inside this. First, you need to pass the delimiter. Inside the double quotes, you have to give any delimiter. And after that, what columns you need to combine? Those column names you need to write. Day, like this. Whatever columns you want to pass, those related columns you need to mention here. And so any column you can pass. So then automatically those columns are combined into single column. Okay. If you want to combine multiple columns into single column, you have to use this combinations. Okay. See here. Suppose see here like this. Okay. Next to function is like similar like other functions like concat also it is doing. But what is a concat will do? Concat it is also combining multiple columns into single column. But what is the difference between combine values and concatenate? Means in concat you can combine only two columns. In combine values you can combine more than two columns. You can combine n number of columns in combine values. In concatenate only two columns you can. See here. See here. You just need to pass the column names directly. Our column. See, concat is nothing but combining the. Okay. So what columns you can combine? Those columns you need to, but you can combine only two columns, not more than that. Understand? So this is next one is mid function. Suppose, for example, if you want to extract the characters from this position of character to this position of characters, then must and should you have to use mid function. See here. Suppose, for example, in this one, so first you need to pass the column name. What is the column name? Combine values. Okay. Inside this one, so from which position you need to start? Suppose I'm giving 2, comma 3 I am giving. What is the meaning of this one? In this combined values column, what is the what is the second digit is there? That's from that second digit to up to how many? 3. That means from second digit to 3 means 5 colon 1. That it will be like this. If you want to extract the character from the string, okay, from this position to this position, then you have to use mid function. Understand? Like this. Similar like replace also. Replacing means if you want to replacing to the existing value, then you have to use replace function. See here, suppose for example, replace of. See here, combine one. Rama. What is the starting position? From which position to which position means you want to replace it. That positions you need to give. Suppose 2 comma, I'm giving 3. What is the meaning of this one? In combined values, 2 comma 3, what value is there? 5 colon 1. In place of 5 comma 1, okay, what value you want to replace it? That you need to give. Suppose for example, at the rate. I'm giving here. Then in 2 comma 3, whatever position values are there, in place of that one, it is replaced with at the rate. Remaining values as it is will be there. Only those position it is replaced with at the rate. Remaining value as it is, it will be there. See here, 2 at the rate 1 colon 2013 like that. Okay. So this is replace. Next one is, what is the next one? Substitute. What is substitute? See, replace and substitute function both are replacing with the existing value. But syntax wise, it difference will be. Okay. In replace, position wise, it will replace the values. But in a substitute function, character wise replacing. Suppose, for example, let's see. Okay. Combine values. So in this combined values, with what value you want to replace? See here, I'm giving like a colon and and at the rate. What is the meaning of this one? So in this combined values column, wherever colon is there, in place of colon, it is replaced with at the rate. That is the meaning of this one. See here, 25 at the rate 11 at the rate 2030. See here. It is like this. So wherever, that means if it is colon is repeating more than one time, wherever the colons are there, in place of colon at the rate will be replaced. Understand? This is substitute. See, replace and substitute, what is the difference? Position wise, replacing a value is replace function. Substitute means character wise replace. If any character is wherever in each and every cell that character is there, in place of that character, new value will be replaced. That it will be. Understand clearly or not? So this is how the substitute function. Okay. Next one is format. Format means if you want to display any month name, week name, you have to use format function. Suppose for example, I have a date column. On the date column, so if you want from the date column, if you want to display the month number means you have a month function will be there. If you want to display the week number means you have weekday is there. right? But if you want to display the month name, week name, and everything, then you have to use format function. See here, in format, first you need to pass the date column. See here, what is the date column? Now column is there, right? This one, that column. And if you want to display the month name means like this, four ends. Okay. If you want to display the week name, okay, then you have to give four Ds. Okay. See here, week name. Like that, in format, there are different ways we can, different outputs we can generate in the format. But in the regular class itself, when we are joining my classes, at that point of time, I clearly explain to you what is format function. Understand clear or not? Like this. Okay. So this is about text functions. Next category of function is logical functions. Logical functions is if, switch, and, or, not. These are logical operators. If you want to know what are logical operators, and are, not is the logical operators, right? Same like that here also it will be there. Along with that, if and switch also it is there. What if will do? That means based on the existing column value, okay? Suppose if the column value is something, based on the existing column value, I want to I want to generate a different one. Then you have to use if function. See here, suppose for example, if it is Germany, okay. Suppose in the country column, Germany is there, right? In if it is Germany, I want to return GE. Remaining other than Germany, as it is values I need to display. Then see how can I write this one? Hence, yeah, if function. In if function, okay. Suppose, for example, what is that? Country column is there, right? So in if function, first you have to write the condition. Condition means column name, operator, value. This we can call it as condition. That means, see here, if this column, okay, first column name, after that operator, you can use different operator, equal to, less than or equal to, not equal to operator. These are the different operators are there. So whichever operator you require, you have to use that one. And see here, suppose in this country column, okay, suppose if it is Germany, I'm writing like this, okay. So this we can call it as condition. That means column name, operator, and value is called as condition. Okay. So that means what is the meaning of this one? In this country column, if you have Germany values are there, then I need to return, see here, like this, G. Otherwise, I need to return same country column. What values are there? Those are all values. Then what you have to return is, see, as it is column name, you have to write country. Okay. What is the meaning of this one? If this column contains Germany, then I need to return G. Otherwise, okay, otherwise same country column values. That means for other Germany value, for other than Germany values, same what values are there, the same values will be displayed. That is the meaning of this one. Understand? That means in if condition, okay, what we can do here, okay, first you need to write the condition. If this condition is satisfied in whichever rows this condition is satisfied, for those rows, this is the statement. Otherwise, other than the Germany rows, what values are there in that country column, those as it is values need to be displayed. That is the meaning of this one. If this is not satisfied, then this statement will return, else statement will return. Understand? Like this. See here, wherever Germans are there, GE it is replaced. Remaining Canada, France, Mexico, and all these things it returns the same other country names. Understand clear? This is if condition. Okay. Next one is see here. But in if there is one drawback is there. What is the drawback? Means in if we can return only two statements. See here. That means this is the true statement and this is the false statement. Only two statements you can return. But I want to return multiple statements. If you want to return multiple statements means you have to use switch function. See here. See, in this also, in switch function also, first you have to write the true. Here also, you can write multiple conditions, multiple statements. Okay. So in if, only two statements you can, but in if, in switch, we can return, we can write multiple conditions, we can return multiple statements. Understand? Let's see here. Suppose, for example, month number. Suppose if it is one, suppose, then I need to return January, Jan. Like this. See, if it is two, other than this, all these statements, I want to return false statement. Here it is December direct. See here, in this switch, you can write multiple condition, multiple statement. That means, what is the meaning of this one? In this month number column, if you have one, wherever ones are there, you need to return January. If it is two, is there February. If it is three, is there March. Like that for all this one. Here up to here condition statement, condition statement. But last one, directly you can write the statement. You can return the statement here. No need to write the function here. Okay. So directly you can write this function. See, okay. Directly you can write the statement here. Okay. So that in this number and execute this. Yeah. See here like this. Okay. If only two statements, only one condition we can write, but two statements we can return. But if you want to return multiple statements, that it is not possible in if. Okay. So you have to go with the switch function. In switch function, you can write multiple conditions, multiple statements. Okay. Suppose, for example, in this one, you can, even if you want to, in if condition also, you can write multiple conditions. How you can write multiple conditions? See here, this is one condition, right? You can write multiple conditions. Even in if and switch also, you can write multiple conditions. But in between the conditions, must and should, you have to use an operator called and or operator. Suppose, for example, see here, and and see here condition you have to write it. Suppose for example, if it is Germany, okay, and month number. See here, what is the meaning of this one? Another condition. That means in AND operator, this is an AND operator. In AND operator, both the conditions must and should be satisfied. If any one condition is failed, then false statement will be. If both the conditions are satisfied, then only true statement. That means that country column, in whichever rows the country column is Germany, in the same rows, the month number having a 12 number. If it is there, then GA. Otherwise, the same other country column. See here, like this we can. In AND operator, what we can do? All the conditions must and should be satisfied. How many conditions we are writing? For all the conditions, the must and should be satisfied. So two conditions I'm writing. You can write multiple conditions, but in between the condition must and should, you have to use either AND operator or operator. Understand? Okay. So if you want to use OR operator means like this pipe symbols. In OR operator, if any one condition is satisfied, then true statement will run. Understand? If both the conditions are not satisfied, at that point of time only it will throw some. Understand or not? Okay. So that means in OR operator, if any one condition is satisfied, true statement will run. If both the conditions are not satisfied, then only false statement it will return. What is that? When both the conditions are not satisfied, then false statement will return. Otherwise, if any one condition is satisfied, then immediately true statement. What is the true statement here? G. Understand? Say like this. Understand clear or not? This is how and or operator. Not equal to means, suppose how you can write not equal to, immediate less than greater than is called as not. That means not equal means other than the 12 in the number, whatever it is there, those related satisfied. See here. Not equal to means this is one. Like this we can write it. Understand clear? Okay. Okay. These are the logical operators. Okay. So logical functions are these. Next one is modeling. What is modeling? Means what we can do in modeling? Just we need to provide a relationship between the data sets. Why? Why we need to provide a relationship between? If you are not providing a relationship between the data set, okay, it while at the time of showing the data in the visualization, it won't show the proper data in the visualization. Let's see what will happen. Suppose, for example, where we can provide a relationship between the data set in this model view. In this model view, right now we have only one data set is there. See here, there are two data sets. In between the data set, you need to provide a relay, must and should you need to provide a relay. If I'm not providing a relay, what will happen? Let's see practically. I will show you. See here. I'm pulling one more data set. See here. See. So I have the data set. This is the data set. Okay. In this data set, so suppose for example, what will happen? Why we need to provide a relationship between that? See here. In the visualization, in the report view tab, suppose for example, okay, I'm taking all the columns. See here. This is the visualization. In this visualization, mm, see here. Suppose for example, if you are taking all in the visualization, if you are taking all the column from one visual, see here, the proper values are showing here. There is no relationship is not required. But in real time, we are not using all the column from only one data set. We are using the columns in the visualization. We are representing the columns, different column from different data set in the same visual. At that point of time, relationship is required. If there is no relationship, what problems it is facing? Let's see. See here, if i'm if I'm taking in the visualization, if I'm using all the column from one data set, there is no relationship is not required. Okay, so but see here, in this one, this is another visual. So in this visual, few of the columns I'm taking from one data set. See here. See, I'm taking country column in financial. In export data set, I'm taking sales and COGS here. See here. When you're taking sales and COGS, is the data is properly showing? No, it is not showing it is showing total value. See here, how the values are showing. See, for Canada, this is the value. For, for France, this is the value. Like that, individually it is showing. But when you are taking from different column from different data set, if there is no relationship, see, it is not showing individual sales. It is showing overall sales. These are the problems it is. Suppose if you provide a relationship between the data set, okay, then what will happen? Then it will show the proper data. See here, see. Now see here. Now go to the report view. Now see the result. See here. Now it is showing proper individually for Canada. Canada, what is the sales and what is France, what is and everything. Okay. This because of this reason only we need to provide a relation. That means in the same visual, if you are using different column from different data set, must and should in between the data set relationship must and should. Okay. So how you can provide a relationship between the data set means if you want to provide a relationship between the data set means must and should you require a common column between the data set. Then only we can provide. So common column means what is a common column? That means whichever column having similar type of values and the data type is same, that we can call it as common column. That means here the common column is country and country. Okay. So whenever you have the common column, you just need to drag and drop the column and input it into this one. Then automatically relationship is enabled between the data set. See here, click on OK. Like this relationship. This is how we can provide a relationship between the data set. Suppose if you want to delete the relationship, how you can delete it? Just mouse over to that particular line, right click on that particular line. You will see an option called delete. See here, click on delete. Click on yes. Okay, like this it is. Suppose, for example, if you want to change, if you want to modify the relationship, then what you have to do? Double click on that particular line. See here, if you double click on this one, and the same window will open. In that window, you can change like other common columns. See, sometime now it is common column is country content. In future, some other common column is there. You have to change it here, right? So you can change, you can select that common column and change the cross filter directions and everything. But when you are going with the regular class, okay, if you joining my classes, you will understand there is a separate concept will be there for modeling. What is cardinality? What is cross filter direction? If I'm applying a single option in cross filter direction, how the visualizations are affected. If I'm applying both, then how the visualizations are affected. Those related things, when you are joining my regular class, you will understand how these will work. Don't worry, this is a workshop. So that's the reason we just whichever topics are important in that. So few of the things we need to take it and we are explaining this. But when you are going with a regular class, in-depth class explanation will be there. Understand clearly or not? This is how the modeling. Not only this one, this is a small topic for modeling. Okay. There are multiple ways we can provide a relationship between. Okay. When you are going with the regular class, you will understand what is this. Okay. So this is just a workshops it is. Okay. Last week workshop it is going on transform data. This week it is DAX function and modeling. Next workshop is also there. Okay. Maybe next week, after next week it is there. In that visualization and service related things. Those the next topic of the one. Okay. Those workshop. So if you want to join my class, please try to reach out Naresh Institute. Okay, Naresh IT team. Okay, they will tell you when the new batches are started. The new batch will be started on 20th May. Okay, so on 20th May, new batches are started. Who are interested, please join in those classes. Okay, so anyone having any doubts in these topics like tax functions or modeling or anything? Anyone having any doubts? Okay, so we can stop it here. Again, we'll meet on the next workshop. The next workshop is visualization and service related, Power BI service. Those related things we need to discuss. Okay. Thanks for joining my workshop. Okay. Happy weekend, guys. Bye.